For over 100 years, our world has pretty much run on one kind of power. But a massive shift is underway right now, and all the data points to one single year as the tipping point 2026. So, what if the one thing, the absolute bedrock of our global energy system, the undisputed king that fueled, well, everything since the Industrial Revolution, was about to get completely dethroned? Because, yeah, that's exactly what the data is screaming at us right now. And look, this isn't some sci-fi fantasy for the year 2050. We are talking about a historic power shift that is crowning a new king of global energy, and it's happening as we speak. Now, don't just take my word for it. This comes straight from the top, the International Energy Agency, one of the most respected energy authorities on the planet. They are forecasting that renewables will officially take the crown from coal by 2026, at the latest. This is without a doubt a monumental turning point. And get this, the scale of this thing is just massive. We're not just talking about a little growth here. The IEA is projecting that renewables will cover over 90% of the increase in global electricity demand all the way to 2026. So what does that really mean? It means pretty much all the new power we're adding to the grid is clean. Okay, so why the sudden explosion? Why is this all happening so incredibly fast? Well, this whole thing has moved way beyond just being an environmental story. It has become a high-stakes global race for industrial power, for jobs, and for technological dominance. We're seeing a completely new global playbook emerge. Over in the US, you've got the Inflation Reduction Act unleashing hundreds of billions of dollars in incentives. And Europe, they're firing right back with their Green Deal and the Net Zero Industry Act. These aren't just climate policies anymore, folks. These are aggressive industrial strategies designed to win the future. And then you have China. They're in a league of their own right now, spending nearly as much on clean energy as the United States and the European Union combined. This isn't just an investment, it's a strategic move that cements their position as the world's undisputed clean energy superpower, controlling huge parts of the supply chain. But wait, it's not just a three-horse race. You've got other massive players jumping into the ring. India is moving fast, aiming for its own manufacturing dominance. Australia is making a huge pivot to become a green superpower, with a big focus on energy storage. The whole conversation has changed. It's not about climate pledges anymore. It's about a bare-knuckle fight for industry, for jobs, for the future. Now, all this government muscle wouldn't mean much without the technology to back it up, and the breakthroughs happening on the front lines are absolutely game-changing. And right at the heart of this whole puzzle is energy storage. The best way to think about it, it's like a giant rechargeable battery for the grid, or maybe a pacemaker. It answers that age-old question about renewables. Yeah, but what happens when the sun doesn't shine or the wind doesn't blow? Storage is the answer. It's what makes a clean grid reliable. So, let me walk you through how a solar plus storage project actually works. It's pretty cool. During the middle of the day, solar panels are just cranking out power. Instead of letting any of that extra energy go to waste, it gets funneled into a massive battery. Then, later in the evening, when everyone gets home and turns on their lights and TVs, that stored clean energy is released back into the grid, keeping everything stable and reliable. And just when you think you've got the whole picture, a new massive player enters the game: AI and data centers. Their thirst for energy is just incredible. By 2026, they could be consuming over 1,000 terawatt hours. That is a mind-boggling amount of electricity. And for these giant tech companies, cheap, reliable, clean power is now the number one thing they look for when deciding where to build. Okay, so we've got geopolitics and incredible new tech all swirling together. What does this mean for real people, for you and me? Well, in a word, jobs. A ton of them. We're talking about a full-blown clean energy gold rush. Just look at the numbers from 2023. This sector already had over 16 million people working in it. That's an 18% jump in a single year. And solar is the undisputed king here, employing millions all by itself. And the cool thing is, these aren't just one type of job. We need the hands-on folks, the wind turbine techs, the solar installers, the battery engineers. But we also desperately need the data wizards, the energy analysts and AI specialists who are building the smart grids of the future. And of course, you need the people who tie it all together, the project managers and policy experts. Okay, but let's be real for a second. A revolution this big, this fast, it's never a smooth ride. There are some serious growing pains we have to talk about. And these aren't small hurdles. We're talking about fundamental questions. Is our grid, which is pretty old in a lot of places, actually ready for this? With everything going digital, how in the world do we protect it from cyber attacks? And maybe the biggest question of all, where do we find enough skilled people to fill all these new jobs? On top of all that, you have to get communities on board to build all this new stuff. That's a huge challenge in itself. So there you have it. The race for clean energy dominance is on, and it is going to reshape our world. The question is no longer if this is happening. The real question is, who's going to win and what will it ultimately cost?